Hello friends, I am back on board Triteia, getting ready for the refit. I was gone 6 weeks back to America, did the Annapolis boat show, spent time with Victoria in San Diego, got all caught up on all my video editing and writing, and then I arrived back to Triteia I think 2 days ago. It was like super gnarly storms the last 2 days since I've been back. Today the sun finally came out, stunningly beautiful, and let's hope that it holds. We haul out a week from today, so that's when we get the boat out on the hard and get into all the projects. Boat looked good when I got back. There was mold, there's some mold around that is to be expected in the tropics, but other than that, really chill. Right before I left, I had to, the day before I left, my last lithium battery totally blinked out and failed. I'm sure it's just the BMS, but all of that was a result of that near lightning strike in Belitung, Indonesia. I was grateful that it got me to here, but the day before I left, I had to wire up the emergency spare lead acid battery that I had bought in Belitung in Indonesia as a just in case. So that battery, I didn't know what the condition was going to be. I mean, I wired it up to the solar and to the everything and the bilge pump. The main thing was the bilge pump. And I got back and it was like, yeah, I had, full voltage, all good, topped up, everything was happy. So that was nice to come back to be like, okay, awesome. So I thought I would show you some of the stuff I brought back from the States with me, and then talk a little bit about what we're going to be getting into with the refit. Alright, so one really important thing I brought back was a new lift pump for the engine. I think my lift pump has been failing, and that's been one of the hard start things. That combined with a couple of air leaks that I had discovered in the diesel line. So getting a new lift pump, really excited about. I also bought a whole set of crush washers, which I couldn't find anywhere before. So now I have these a full set, so I can use them as much as I need. Mostly I need that for the secondary fuel filter, the bleed screw. The top screws on the top of the secondary filter have always seeped diesel, so I know that if they're seeping diesel, that means air could also get in there. But I didn't have any crush washers, and I couldn't even find them in Australia when I was there, so super stoked to have a full set of that. I got a bunch of used blocks. I got a full set of blocks for my main sheet. The ones I have, I repaired the top block on my main sheet. I don't remember if it was in Australia or on the way to Indonesia, but I did a field repair on that, and the other ones, they just look questionable to me. So these are much nicer than the ones I have now. That'll take a load off of my mind. I also got a new Vang block with a cam on it. So this is what exploded on me I think it was on my passage to Belitung from Borneo. This part broke on the one I have, so this is a much beefier than the one I had installed. So excited to have the Vang back in working order. Before I left, I also replaced all of the running rigging. So I was here a week before I went back to America, and I replaced all the running rigging on the entire boat, which only cost me $500 US to just replace everything, which is so cool. So that was a huge thing that had to take place before we do the Indian Ocean. So excited that that's done, and everything's installed on that as well. I also brought back puck antenna, GPS antenna for the AIS. So I'm going to see if I can, the one I've been using can go back to my tracker, to my data hub, which is for my Predict Wind tracker. And hopefully this one will work for the AIS if I can't get the AIS working with its proper installed one. I'm going to try to get it working the way it's supposed to, but I'm hoping that this will be a good backup that will work if not. It's a passive antenna, and that other little antenna that I've been using is also passive and has been working. So hopefully this will solve us. I also got all of the flags for the entire Indian Ocean. So every flag I will need, basically until I get to Brazil, I have on board now, which is exciting. I wish that I had had the money before I left to buy the circumnavigation flag set, because then you don't have to like track them down like group by group, but it always comes to money, right? And I buy my flags, I'm not sponsored by them at all, but yachtflags.com. I don't get a discount or anything. I bought full price, but they produce really good flags. That's where I always order my flags from. I got a new hydrovane vane cover at the boat show. I did an appearance at the hydrovane booth and picked up this cool limited edition palm tree cover, which I'm super stoked about. It's super cool. So stoked on that. Have a new vane cover. I need to make this umbrella housing cover to keep it in so that the sun doesn't toast this one as quick as it did the last one. I also got paper charts, small scale paper charts for the entire Indian Ocean. So north and south, I'm totally set with paper charts for the Indian Ocean passage. I never cross an ocean without paper charts of the ocean, small scale chart of the ocean. So if something happens, all electronics go down. There's no way for me to have GPS. I do have a sextant. I always keep the updated almanacs. I know celestial, and I can plot my course anywhere in the ocean and know that I'm going to get to a landfall. So I think it's very important, good seamanship, to always have a paper chart for any ocean passage you're doing. So I got these in Baltimore when we were out for the boat show. What else did I get? Oh, I just picked this up here today. Check this out. An outboard bracket for the transom that I'm going to install. As like finicky as my engine has been, I thought that this was really good insurance to have on board just in case. I think what I'll do is, while I'm hauled out, I think I'll go ahead and fully like install this, drill all the holes, build the bracket with there has to be like an angled thing to keep this level and everything. Totally get this so that it's can be put off the transom and the outboard used instead of the dinghy on the hip, just in case. This thing at the chandlery here at Rebak Boatyard Chandlery, it was only $35 US. I would have paid $150 for this thing, so I was like so surprised and stoked. And then there's like this really cool discount marine store, hardware store. It's like Home Depot or Bunnings, but they also have like actual marine parts. That's where I got quite a bit of my running rigging, and then I got some of the more important ones like at the proper Marine Supplies Asia. But today I bought just a cheap little orbital that's like voltage here, because all my tools are like 120 volt for the US. So I bought this. It was like less than 50 bucks. That way I'll be able to sand all the decks and the top sides and all that stuff. I think I'll hire someone here to sand my bottom so I can do the bottom paint. But as far as sanding, preparing the top sides, I'll be able to do all that with this little thing. Instead of I could have rented one, but it was actually, this thing is so cheap that it didn't make sense for me to rent one when I could buy one for so cheap. I think that about sums up what I brought back. I may have forgotten a few things. If I did, I'll throw in photos of them during the editing process of this. Stoked to be in a place where I can get actual boat work done, proper parts and everything. I have a crazy list, to-do lists for the haul out. So those are all outside jobs, those are inside jobs. Lots of stuff I'm gonna be having to check off. But I'm excited to get Triteia in like ship shape and Bristol smart. She needs it for the Indian Ocean next year. It'll be really nice. Now I'll try, just from memory, I'll try to go down some of the stuff, the big stuff we're going to do. There's a billion little things as well, but let's try to go down let's start on the outside. We're going to do a bottom job. So new anti-fouling. I use hard bottom paint. I'm not a fan of ablative. I consider doing copper coat, but which I think is, I have friends that have it and it's pretty cool. But my concern is, I've also read things about where it starts to get heavy growth as well. And the problem is, like, it's really expensive and you can't just like throw a couple paints of bottom paint on if you have copper coat. So if you're using traditional bottom paint, it makes sense to me that no matter where I am, I can probably, if there's yachting services, I can find bottom paint of some sort. So I'm going to stick with this traditional sort of hard bottom paint. So I'm going to do bottom paint. I'm going to do some gel coat repair and barrier coat where I hit that reef in Indonesia. It's just like it's like that big, not a very big spot. I'm going to redo the boot stripe, obviously sand and repaint the top sides. I think I'll see how much it'll cost if they spray it, because they do spray here, so that would be nice. I priced out that topside paint. It's like a 2-part paint, and it was like less than $100 US for me for a 5-liter thing, so that's pretty affordable as far as marine paint goes. So get the top sides painted, sticking obviously with a dark blue traditional paint job. I'm gonna sand and paint the decks. All the decks got to be sand and painted, and I have to do all the bright work. I want to replace all the wiring for the solar panels, because I'm sure that there's corrosion in there, so there's probably there's definitely some loss of performance on that end. So I want to go ahead and run all new cables for the solar. Install that, the holes and everything for this thing. I need to repair the tow rail forward. I got these. Bought these to do the repair and replace. But I might just install like proper deck cleats forward and just bypass, not even do these chocks, just do deck cleats. We'll see, I haven't decided yet, but I have to do that. I need to fabricate some sort of situation with the cockpit seats so that water doesn't get in. For the Indian Ocean, I expect we're going to take a lot of water in the cockpit. It's a pretty rough ocean to cross, so I got to do that. I'm getting a new pelagic autopilot, so they're sponsoring Triteia and sending a whole new unit as a unit for the new autopilot, so I can get rid of those stupid Ray Marine pieces of junk. I'm excited about that. That's a huge upgrade for when I need that, the electronic auto tiller working. I got this exhaust port. I'm going to move the exhaust port higher on the transom from where it is, and then also install a seacock in the middle of it so that I can shut it off with a giant seacock so that we won't ever get water up in the exhaust pipe. But yeah, I just got this today. Yeah, I think that's as far as I can. I gotta replace or repair the winch on the main halyard on the mast. That thing is toasted, so I gotta fix and repair that, and I gotta repair the side deck midship cleats as well. Now I'll try to run through what I need to do inside. Sand and paint all the surfaces that are white. I want to do all the wood, so sand all the wood, re-oil it. I use teak oil on the wood inside, except the companionway steps, I'll varnish those. So I want to recondition the whole companionway steps, sand them down, re-varnish them, and maybe put some step pads on it so they're not slippery. So do that. I'm going to cut the galley countertop out and replace it. I'm going to build a big cabinet here. So I'm going to get rid of this weird size settee. There'll be a single seat where I can just sit there if I need to put my fowlies on or just sit. But the rest of this is going to be a big stowage thing. I mean, I always stow stuff here anyway with the lee cloth, so this many years in, I'm like, what am I doing? I might as well just do a built-in. So that'll give me a massive counter space where I can do plotting. I can do, you know, use it for the galley, for cooking. I can work on stuff there. So this will be a big countertop. It'll open up like this. I'll be able to keep my generator, maybe the spinnaker in here. A bunch of big stuff can go in this cabinet. And then there'll maybe be some doors here, something like that, or quick grab stuff. So, and it'll have like fiddle edges of teak, and then have the white, sort of same white surface that everything else that I've made. So it'll nice and pro, and really utilize this space in a much better way. And then I don't have the visual of looking at like stuff just piled up all the time, which really bums me out. So that's the big thing that I have to do. I have to install the Dakota Lithium has already sent the new batteries, so I'll be installing two 320 amp hour each batteries. So we're upgrading the battery bank from 400 amp hours to 640 amp hours, which is incredible. So I got to install that. I want to install a separate shore plug for 240 volt, at least with like a battery charger, so that I haven't plugged in shore power since June of 2021. So, and I don't even have a way to plug into shore power since leaving Hawaii, because it's a different voltage. So I'm going to try to install even like a simple setup so that I can plug into shore power if I need to. I think that would be very beneficial. I would also like to install a an inverter for 240 as well, even if it's small, to run stuff like this, because this is like, you know, power tools, or if I want to get an electric kettle or something like that. So I think it would be good, since like I've had to buy a number of different tools since I left that I have to use a transformer to charge. Fuck. My camera just overheated. Not sure why. Maybe it's because it's too hot here. So yeah, got to get the whole new battery bank set up, all that stuff. And then let me see if it says anything here. Oh, I need to repair the fridge, see if the fridge can get repaired. I would like to get new cushions made, which I've already sent an email out to get a quote for that. I don't know if that's possible with my budget or not, but I would like to do that if possible. I need to replace my fresh water pump. I need to replace my salt water pump for the galley. New mattress. A bunch of odds and ends other than that. So, big list ahead of me. Especially when you're solo, you have to do all this stuff by yourself. But I'm excited to be in a place where I can do it. I love Malaysia. I love Rebak Marina. It's really nice. I'm going to take you guys on a tour of it soon. And yeah, I can't wait to get into all this and get it knocked out. If you enjoy the content on this channel and would like to contribute, you can consider joining the Patreon crew. Thanks for watching. Fair winds until next time.